So I released a video a few days ago on this channel which was about me having made two of my original music videos for my own original music, and I had asked people to sort of leave a comment and ask me to do more videos, or sort of leave kind of suggestions about what I can make another video for. And just one person commented on that video, and that one person asked me to make a video about how I make my songs. And to that one person, this is your lucky day, because I spent the last 2 days working on a song, and I recorded the entire process. I will take you through the entire process of how I write and record my own songs, and I'll take you through them step by step. So, having said that, hello everyone, I'm Skand, and you're watching Pictorial Thought. Alright, step one. Come up with a riff or a beat or anything basically to build your song upon. It could even just be one note on a synthesizer. In this case, we are going to start working on a guitar riff. So I'm going to play this guitar, I've come up with a riff, and we are going to build from there. So here it is. Now, we need to record this. Okay, so now while we record, the first thing that we need to set up is the tempo for the song. Now, when I open my software in which I'm going to record the whole thing, right now I'm going to use Cubase LE, which came free with my interface here, which is the Scarlett kit. So the first thing that we're going to do is first look at the default tempo on the software, which is 120 beats per minute. Now if you play it with this, you'll realize that it's quite fast. It's too fast for this particular riff that we came up with. It's too fast. So now we're going to try and find a slower one. Now, one way to do it is to first tap your feet with the riff itself, so that you know how to determine and get a little closer right at the beginning. So, if you're a beginner with any of this, you're going to find it very difficult to be able to play with tempo or to even tap your feet while you're playing. But we have to do this, because otherwise the rest of the song we won't know when to play what. There has to be a standard tempo to the song. So now, since we have done that, I think we can easily assume that this can't be more than 90 beats per minute. So let's play it and see. I think it's still too fast. Yep, a bit too fast. We're going to reduce this to 85 and then see what happens. This sounds perfect. Okay, I did not play it to the tempo, but I think this is what we want. And now we are going to have two choices. First is to play it the regular way, which is to begin the riff and the beat together. That is the most standard way, and I think if I play it like that, it would be a little too generic. This is what it's sounding like right now. Alright, I think it's too generic. The second thing I think we can do is to start the beat on the third note of the riff, and that could make things a little more interesting. I like to sort of start making the song as interesting as possible right from the beginning, and do not wait till I'm already too much into the song. And I think this is a way to make it a little more interesting that we can work on, and that can really also push the mood for the song, can also give it a nice groove. So if we play the way that I've said, that is, begin the beat on the third note of the riff, this is what it's going to sound like. Alright, so you see the difference. I think this is going to be more interesting to work on. Now I'm just going to record this, and then we are going to move forward. So I've recorded the riff, and this is what it sounds like with the tempo. Alright, so you might have noticed I've recorded two versions of the same riff. The first one is the regular one, the way that we played before, and the second one is with the first half of the riff playing twice, so that we have some variation. I am getting a feeling that when we do vocals, this is going to come in handy. The next step is that we start working on the beat right away. I like to have fun just as soon as possible. So we're going to start building a beat with a built-in plugin that comes with the DAW that we're using here. DAW stands for Digital Audio Workstation, which is Cubase in this case. We're going to work with that free plugin, and we're going to build a beat for the song. So let's get to that. So I've started off the Groove Agent on my software, and what I've done for my setup is that I've used a very old synthesizer keyboard, a digital synthesizer that my brother bought a long time ago. I have connected this to the computer, so I can control what's going on in the software with this. I can use MIDI tracks and build some really nice instruments with the help of this. I'm going to play this beat with the music, and let's see what we come up with. Alright, I think we've got it. So I'm going to record this very basic beat, and then if we have to build upon that, I will build. I'm not going to show the entire process here because that's just going to be long and tedious. Let me just pause this. You'll know exactly what's gone on behind the scenes here because I've built that very basic beat for you. And anything that is built is going to be built upon this. And yeah, so let's see what we come up with. So I built a second variant on the beat, which is a little more complex. So I'm getting an idea of how we're going to shape the song. It's going to begin with that simple beat and the riff, and then it's going to build up into this other beat. Now I want you to listen to it right now so that you know what's coming. Okay, so I think you get the idea. Now let me work on the structure a little bit, and then I'll get back to you with the next step, which is going to be adding some bass, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I've come up with a bass line for the song. I've come up with two variations on it depending on the beat that goes in the background. I'll play that here, and you're going to listen to the bass line, and once you hear it, then I'll go and work on sort of recording it and setting it into the song, and then we'll move forward from there. Alright, so I think you heard it. The next step is going to be sort of setting in the vocals, basically deciding on the melody. I'm going to work on that after taking a little bit of break, because you have to take some break and come back to your pieces, because once you get used to listening to a particular section of your song, you kind of stop seeing the problems in it. So I'll take a break and then we'll pick up from there. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create an audio track, and we're going to make a nice little voice note, which is basically singing out the melody without really the final lyrics, just so that we can fix the verse of the song. And then we'll start working on other things, maybe even move to the chorus. But for now, I'm going to create another track here, and we're going to start working on the sound note. So for this one, I'm going to turn the monitors off, so you won't be able to listen to the music because, well, I'll be singing into the microphone, and if I turn the monitors on, then that sound is going to bleed into this. So you're just going to listen to me humming into the microphone, and after I'm done, I'm going to make you listen to the voice note along with the music. Alright, so here we go. Okay, so I recorded the voice note, kind of the melody, so now we can listen to it. I've started it from the beginning of the song, so yeah. Alright, so as you can hear, it's sounding a little, well, monotonous, because it's the same all the way through. So we are going to add some layers to this verse part, which will also help us transition into the chorus. I'm going to work on that for a while, and then I'll get back to you with the next step. So I did add some piano parts in the second half of the verse. I'm not too sure about it yet. I don't know what to do with it for now. But one good thing that came out of the entire exercise is that I somehow thought of a transition into a kind of a chorus with the guitar part. So this is what I'm going to play and record for sort of the chorus. Alright, so I'm going to record this using the metronome and the whole shebang, the way that we record the entire riff, and then let's see where it goes from there. So I recorded the guitar for the chorus, and then I added the beats, the already existing beats, to the chorus, and now I think I have the entire basic structure of the song. It's going to be a very standard intro, verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, outro kind of a structure. And I'll make you listen to the chorus that we have right now, which is just the guitar and the beats. Alright, so this is what I'm going to close the day with. I've already also started writing some of the lyrics, which is a very important part of the whole process. Tomorrow I will start working with some very exciting things. These days I'm working with synth sounds, and tomorrow we are going to make some of those synth sounds for this song. I'm also kind of envisioning some string sections, so let's see how it works out. But for today, this is time to say goodnight, and yeah, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Ooh. Good morning, everyone. It's day 2 for the song. I have made myself some coffee, and the first task at hand is to go through whatever we've done till now. Just listen to the whole song as it exists so far, and then start working on it. This is the day when a major chunk of the layering is going to happen. That means the song will start taking a lot of shape, it will start taking a lot of character, and a lot of weird and new sounds will be introduced. After that, let's see if I think the best way to move forward will be to add some synth sounds immediately. But first, let me review the song, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so I reviewed the song, and I realized that before adding some synths, I want to add some string sections to the song. I can just hear strings sound really nice, especially during the bridge. And yeah, so I'll be using a plugin, again a free plugin that comes with the DAW, which is HA Lion or Helion. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's a free plugin which comes with Cubase. It's Steinberg's own plugin, and it's pretty good. The only thing is that right off the bat it won't sound so natural, so I'll have to do some editing afterwards. So I have recorded the string section. Now the thing is that with MIDI instruments, and especially strings, playing just one note at a time can get really boring and sort of mechanical, because you're not transitioning as smoothly as you would be transitioning on real strings. So in order to make it more interesting, make it more full, what I generally like to do is either play all chords together, or play 2 octaves simultaneously. So that kind of fills it up and makes it a nice string section that it should be. So in this particular case, what I've done is I've played 2 octaves, but I've held the first note that is being played on the lower octave throughout the entire section. So it's going to sound something like this. So this is going to be a little more full, it's going to be a little more intense, and I'm going to play around with it a little bit, but this is going to be in the bridge of the song. Now I'm going to work on a synthesizer track that is going to sort of elevate the whole thing and sort of mix the strings and mix the bridge and everything up quite up together, and I'll come up with that, and then I'll get back to you. Alright, so I've come up with a synth sound and an entire synth line for the song, so I'm going to record that. But before I do that, I need to sort of talk a little bit about what synthesizers are. I'm not an expert in them, but what I generally like to do is use a plugin for that sort of emulates an analog synthesizer. A lot of great artists that you know of, Nine Inch Nails, even a lot of electronic musicians, Radiohead, they work a lot with synthesizers, and of course the analog synthesizers cost a lot, but if you use the plugins, they are just as good. I mean, not just as good, but at least they are quite close. The one that I'm using right now is a paid one, which is called Monarch by Native Instruments. But there are tons of free plugins as well, which you can use and which will come very close. I mean, you'll have to work a little bit with the sounds. But the important thing to remember is that with synthesizers, you have a lot of freedom if you know what you're doing. You can create sounds that no one has heard before. Create sounds that maybe even you can't create given any other situation, or if you have to replicate it, maybe even you can't do that, because there's just so much freedom with it. So yes, the one that I've created for this particular song is this one. So I'm going to record the record the synth line for this synth section for this particular song, and then I'll make you listen to a bit of it so that you get an idea of what I'm trying to do. Okay, so I have done a few things here. The first thing obviously is adding the synth, like I told you. So let's first listen to what the synth sounds like with the song. Synth will enter at the second cycle of the song. So let's see. Okay, so that's the synth that I've added. Right now it sounds a little messy, I know, because you're listening to the entire thing through a mono channel, which is not really the best way to listen to a song. Everything will eventually take shape in a stereo space, and every instrument will be more audible, every part of the song will be much more clear. But before the mix, we'll just have to be patient and just add whatever elements that we think are necessary at whatever point. So trust the process. I like to sort of finish the composition first and then get to the mixing part. But there's one more thing that I've done, is that I've added some piano parts. Some parts I had already added. So this is what the second half of the verse is going to sound. I mean, just the piano. Just the piano part here. Of course, right now you won't be able to listen to it with the song as much because it won't be so clear. So it sounds a little muddy with the rest of the song, but eventually it will be more clear. But I've also added piano during the chorus, just one note on two different octaves, at two different octaves, playing simultaneously. And this is what the thing is. It's just this throughout the rest of the chorus. And if you listen to this with the metronome, it's not quite on the tempo, it's going with the guitar. If you play it with the guitar, this is what it's going to sound like. So what we did with the guitar, we've also done with this particular piano section. And during the bridge, I have also added a piano track, which is going to be this. So this is the piano section during the bridge, which will continue a little bit into the second verse. And yeah, so this is the song just as it stands right now. Now I need to go and take a bath. We'll give it a rest for the time being, and then when we get back, we are going to sort of work with the entire arrangement a little bit. Maybe start recording some rough vocals. I'm not sure. I'll get back and see what I'm in the mood to do at that point. Yeah. So I'll see you after this. Okay, so we are back, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create some randomized drum loops. I'm going to play just some random beats on this keyboard here. That will just be an accompanying track to the main drum track, which is more or less uniform throughout the song. This will just kind of give the song a little more dynamic. That's all that there is, and I'll just record it in front of you so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm not a very skillful percussionist, so excuse me if I'm not playing it so well, but it can be edited later, so I'll do that. Alright, so you just saw me playing really bad, but it will do. I will just sort of quantize the whole track, and I'll figure out which loops I like and which ones I don't like, so I can discard whatever I don't and use whatever I like, and use it in particular places where I think that they would fit best. So I'll do that now, and then we'll see where to go from there. Okay, so I have put in the randomized drum track into the mix. Now, one more thing that I thought would be really nice was an ambient track, which would just fade in and fade out throughout the song. I will automate that particular track to fade in and fade out whenever I think it's going to help the song. So I used another plugin, which is the Waves plugin, to sort of synthesize this ambient sound, which is going to sound something like this. So this is just one note of this particular sound, which is going to be present throughout the song, but I will automate it to come in and out throughout certain sections of the song. Will give a nice ambient atmospheric feel to the entire song, and I think it'll be really nice. It'll be very subtle though, it won't be very obvious and won't be as loud as you just heard. It'll be somewhere in the background to give the feel of being present, but it won't make itself too obvious. Now the next thing, I think I'll just sit down and write the lyrics, finish writing them, and then I'll record the vocals. The first, at least the first layer, the first track of the vocals, and then I'll see where to go from there. So I'm happy to report that I've finished writing the lyrics, and now I'm going to record the vocals, the first bit. And you might have noticed I've swapped my Bear Dynamics headphones with the ones that came with my Scarlett kit, because the Bear Dynamic ones are open back, which means that music that's playing inside is going to leak out and go directly into the microphone. I don't want that to happen, so I picked up these ones. I'm not a big fan of these headphones, but I have to use them at least for the recording bit. So I'm going to record the vocals, and I'm going to record the vocals at least 4 times, which means I'll have 4 different tracks to work with, and while mixing, that will be useful because I would be able to layer them. I would be able to pan some of the tracks. There's going to be one main track, but then there are going to be other backing tracks available to me to work with, and that's going to sort of enhance the vocals in the song. So yes, let's now get to the recording of the vocals. Sacred river, quiet in the night, token mother, broken child. There's always a reason, always the time. Alright, so I just finished recording the vocals for it. So I recorded all the 4 layers that I need for this particular song. I might add some filling vocals, as in some non-lyric vocals, just to fill up some space and sort of give some vocal effects. But other than that, vocals are done. And because of course it's a long process to record vocals, I couldn't show you the entire thing. But here is what all the 4 sound like together. Right now I haven't done any kind of editing on them. I've just spanned 2 of those vocals, one extreme left, one extreme right, but other than that I haven't done anything. So this is what it sounds like. river, quiet ambient nights, token mother, broken child. There's always the reason, always the time to take them away. Alright, so right now this entire song sounds like a mess because it's just a lot of tracks put together. They are literally just coming at you with just one channel, in just one channel, which is mono. I'll need to do a lot of mixing for it to sound or even begin to sound like a proper song. But for now I think I'll just do a little bit, I'll just try to come up with a little bit of filler here and there, and I'll let you know of what I've added. And but mostly the song is almost done. Yeah, so I'll get back to you with whatever little changes I think are necessary now. So I think for now I'm done recording or adding anything new to the song because, well, if you get to it, then there's no real stopping. You keep changing it and doing things, but you need to know when to stop. And I'm going to start mixing the song, and after the first basic mix is ready, I would know if there is something very obvious that I can add, or if some places feel or seem really empty, then I might add something. In case if I do, I'll let you know. But I'm going to get to the mixing right now. I will not be taking you through the technicals of the mixing because I'm not really a mixing engineer. So there's a lot of trial and error on my part. But basically what I will do during the mixing is, the first thing is leveling. So sort of bringing the levels of each track to a certain equilibrium where they set well together, and then of course some panning, which means left to right, or giving them a stereo image that is every track, EQing them, and applying some compression. Some tracks will need some reverb or delay, vocals will need a certain amount of treatment. So I'll do all of that, and then I'll get back to you with either a finished mix on my part, or with something that might be added. Okay, so last night I finished a basic mix and master of the song, which is basically my version. It is going to be flawed to someone who knows what they're listening to, and especially someone who is sound engineer, a mixing engineer. But it'll have to do for now, because the whole idea behind this entire exercise was to show you how I make my own songs entirely. I'm going to release the song, and I'm going to try and make a small music video with it. I mean, it's the lockdown, I know, and I don't really have anyone else to work with except for my wife. But I have an idea in my mind, and I'm going to try and release the song and the music video along with this video on my other channel. So don't forget to go there, subscribe to that channel, and listen to it. In case you have any more questions about certain specific parts of the entire process, let me know in the descriptions, let me know in the comments below. I'll leave two links to some other channels which can sort of give you more details about the whole process of making music and recording process, and certain specifics like synthesizers, and you know, the entire mixing process, and some compositional aspects of music making. In the description below, I'll leave the links there. And yeah, but this has more or less been it, and I hope you enjoy the song. I'll leave a little bit of a teaser at the end of this video for the song, and you can listen to the whole song and watch the music video on my other channel. So for now, this will be it, and I will see you later. Bye bye.